I'm Rebecca, 28 years old. Just 3 hours ago, I sat in a courtroom while my own mother tried to convince a judge that I was too irresponsible to manage my own money. She wanted control of my bank accounts, my car, my apartment, and the inheritance my grandparents left me. Her lawyers smiled like the victory was already guaranteed. Then the judge started reading my financial records. His face went completely white. He stood up so fast his chair nearly fell over, and said, "Stop this proceeding immediately. Someone call security." Before we get into this, please take a moment to like and subscribe, but only if this story truly resonates with you. And drop your location and local time in the comments. I want to know where you are right now. Let me take you back to where this whole thing started. I was 7 years old when my mother decided I was too much trouble to keep. It was a Tuesday morning. I remember that because the kitchen smelled like burnt toast and lemon cleaner, and my little pink suitcase was already waiting beside the front door. "Rebecca is going to stay with Grandma and Grandpa for a while," my mother announced. Not asked. Announced. I stood there in my school uniform, holding a stuffed rabbit by one ear, waiting for someone to explain what "a while" meant. A week? A month? Forever? My mother kissed my forehead quickly. Her perfume smelled expensive, sharp, and cold. "You'll be good for them, won't you?" she said. Then she climbed into her red convertible and drove away to start a life where having a child did not interrupt her parties, boyfriends, and business schemes. My grandparents lived on 12 acres in Connecticut. Their estate had marble floors, crystal chandeliers, and oil paintings that looked down at you like they were judging your posture. Grandmother Eleanor was strict. Breakfast at 7, homework at 4, piano on Thursdays, dinner at 6:30 sharp. "Posture, Rebecca," she would say, tapping the back of my chair. "Your spine should be as straight as your character." Grandfather Charles was softer, but only slightly. He taught me business over Sunday pancakes. While other children learned bedtime stories, I learned compound interest, dividends, and why careless people lose fortunes faster than they inherit them. "Money is not freedom," he told me when I was 10. Understanding money is freedom. My mother visited on birthdays and Christmas, always arriving late, always carrying expensive gifts. She brought designer coats I never asked for, gold bracelets that did not fit, and stories about men who were different this time. She called herself a devoted mother in public. In private, she treated me like an obligation she had outsourced. By 12, I stopped waiting for her to take me home. There is a difference between being forgotten and never being seen in the first place. I learned that difference young. At 14, my mother sent me to Ashford Academy, a boarding school that cost more per year than most families earned. She said it would give me opportunities. What it really gave her was distance. Ashford was beautiful. Red brick buildings, perfect lawns, polished girls with last names that opened doors. But underneath all that privilege, many of us were the same. Children raised by people who preferred achievement to attachment. I studied because numbers made sense. Family did not. Equations had rules. Balance sheets told the truth. If something did not add up, there was always a reason. People were harder. I graduated valedictorian at 17 and got accepted to Harvard with a full academic scholarship. My mother came to graduation 30 minutes late, wearing sunglasses indoors. "My daughter at Harvard," she said loudly, smiling for pictures as if she had raised me herself. I looked at the camera and smiled too. By then, I had learned performance from the best. At Harvard, I studied finance and economics. Business school felt like coming home, because Grandfather Charles had been preparing me for it since childhood. I graduated summa cum laude. My mother sent flowers. The card said, "So proud." It was signed in her assistant's handwriting. 3 days after graduation, I started at Morrison Financial. I earned the job myself through interviews, internships, and a portfolio analysis so detailed my boss said he had never seen anything like it from a 22-year-old. Within 6 months, I was helping manage accounts for clients whose monthly spending was more than my childhood tuition. At 24, I bought my first apartment. It was not huge. 2 bedrooms, city view, clean lines, good security. But every dollar of the down payment came from my salary and bonuses. When I signed the papers, I sat in my car for 10 minutes just holding the keys. For the first time in my life, something was completely mine. My mother called 3 weeks later. "Darling, I heard about the apartment. How exciting. Did Charles help with the down payment?" "I saved for it," I said. It's called having a job. There was a pause. Of course. I only meant you're so young to be making such large financial decisions. Maybe I should look over the paperwork. That was the first warning. I ignored it. I should not have. Grandmother Eleanor died on a gray October morning when I was 26. The chapel was packed with Connecticut society. Everyone spoke about her charity work, her elegance, her discipline. No one said she had saved me. No one said she had taken in a rejected child and taught her dignity. Grandfather Charles followed 6 months later. The doctors called it heart failure. I called it losing the woman he had loved for 47 years. The will reading took place in the same law office my grandparents had used for decades. My mother arrived 20 minutes late in black Chanel and carefully applied grief. Mr. Peyton, the family attorney, opened the folder and read in a measured voice. The majority of the estate, including all properties, investment portfolios, and business holdings, is to be transferred directly to our granddaughter, Rebecca Alexandra Morrison, with the explicit provision that these assets remain solely under her control. The room went silent. "I'm sorry," my mother said. "Could you repeat that?" He did. No mistake. The Connecticut estate, the Boston penthouse, the Martha's Vineyard house, investment accounts worth approximately $8 million, controlling interest in several family business ventures. All of it was mine. My mother's face turned pale beneath her foundation. "There must be some mistake," she said. "They would never cut me out like this." Mr. Peyton looked at her calmly. "Your parents were very clear." Then he handed me a private note from my grandfather. "Rebecca has shown more wisdom and integrity in her young life than some people show in 7 decades. She earned this through character, not circumstance." I read it twice. My hands shook, but not from fear, from grief, from love, from finally being seen. In the parking garage, my mother stopped pretending. "This is temporary," she said. "You're 26. No one your age should control assets of this size without oversight." "I'll be fine," I said. "Grandfather taught me well." Her laugh was sharp. "We'll see." For 18 months, she played the supportive mother. She called every week, sent thoughtful gifts, suggested lunches, asked about my investments, in a soft voice that sounded concerned if you did not know her. "Have you thought about a financial advisor?" she asked. "Do you really feel safe living alone? Maybe some accounts should be in both our names for tax purposes." Every call was recorded in my notes. Every suggestion went into a file. Grandfather had taught me something important. When people start circling your money, do not argue. Document. The breaking point came on a Tuesday in April. My mother was waiting in my apartment lobby, chatting with the concierge like she had every right to be there. "Surprise," she said. "Lunch?" She had already made reservations. At the restaurant, she waited until the salmon arrived before beginning her performance. "I've been doing research, Rebecca. Inherited wealth is complicated. Estate planning, taxes, philanthropic obligations. Frankly, darling, you're not equipped to handle this alone." I cut into my food slowly. "What are you proposing?" She smiled. "Joint accounts, oversight, a proper structure, family helping family. Family. From the woman who had abandoned me at 7. "I'll consider it," I said. But I had already made my decision. 3 weeks later, an official letter arrived from Patterson Williams and Associates. My mother was petitioning the court for conservatorship over my assets. She claimed I was emotionally unstable, financially inexperienced, isolated, and vulnerable to manipulation. She wanted a judge to declare me incompetent. I read the petition 3 times. My hands went cold. There were affidavits from distant relatives I barely knew. Former classmates who described me as withdrawn. An old housekeeper who claimed I had erratic behavior as a child. They had taken my loneliness and turned it into evidence. They had taken my discipline and called it instability. That was the first time I truly understood my mother was not just greedy. She was dangerous. I called Mr. Peyton. "I've been expecting this," he said. "What?" "Your grandparents anticipated this possibility." 3 hours later, I was in his office staring at folders I had never seen before. Medical evaluations proving my grandparents were mentally competent until their deaths. Estate planning records, financial statements, character assessments, academic transcripts, employment reviews, bank records showing responsible spending. Grandfather had built a legal fortress around me. The final folder had my name on it. Rebecca Morrison. Competency and character documentation. Inside was another handwritten letter. If you are reading this, someone is trying to take what you earned through character. Do not let them. The best defense is often a good offense. I looked up at Mr. Peyton. When do we fight back? For 6 weeks we prepared. Every document was organized. Every witness verified. Every timeline checked. Then Discovery gave us something my mother never expected. Her own legal team submitted financial records they thought proved I was reckless. Instead, those records showed credit cards, bank accounts, and loan applications opened in my name while I was away at college. The addresses traced back to my mother. The handwriting matched hers. She had been using my identity for years, at least 7 years that we could prove. The irony was almost beautiful. To prove I was incompetent, she had handed us proof that she was a criminal. Then Patricia Henley called. Patricia had been my grandmother's personal assistant for 15 years. My mother had listed her as a witness. I never agreed to testify for your mother, Patricia said. And Rebecca, there is something you need to know. Your grandfather hired a private investigator 2 years before he died. The investigator's report was devastating. Unauthorized accounts, forged signatures, attempts to access elderly clients' assets, a pattern of financial manipulation my grandfather had discovered and documented before his death. My mother had walked into court holding a match. She did not know my grandparents had already soaked the floor in gasoline. The hearing began on my 28th birthday. I had forgotten. My mother had too. Judge Harrison Mitchell was 68, sharp-eyed, and known for hating courtroom theatrics. My mother wore a navy suit and soft makeup, designed to make her look worried instead of greedy. Her attorney stood first. Your Honor, this is a loving mother trying to protect her daughter from financial decisions she is not mature enough to make. He spoke beautifully, protective, reasonable, polished. Then Mr. Peyton stood. This is not a case about protection. This is a case about an estranged mother attempting to gain control of assets she believes she should have inherited. Evidence will show Rebecca Morrison is competent, financially responsible, and that the petitioner has used her daughter's identity to commit fraud for nearly a decade. My mother went white. The first day, her witnesses described me as quiet, distant, too focused on school. Mr. Peyton destroyed them gently. Quiet was not incompetent. Disciplined was not unstable. Independent was not incapable. Then my mother took the stand. She cried carefully. I'm afraid for my daughter, she said. She has isolated herself. She refuses guidance. This is not about money. Mr. Peyton approached slowly. Mrs. Morrison, how often did you contact Rebecca in the 5 years before your parents died? We spoke regularly. He opened a folder. Phone records show 17 calls in 5 years. The longest lasted 4 minutes and 32 seconds. Is that regular contact? She blinked. Families communicate in different ways. Of course. When is Rebecca's birthday? The courtroom went still. My mother's mouth opened. It's in the spring. What date? She looked trapped. April something. I'd have to check. Mr. Peyton turned slightly. April 15th. Today. Your daughter is 28 years old today. That silence was heavier than any insult. Then he showed her the bank documents, one by one. Credit applications, loan forms, account openings, all in my name, all connected to her. Did you have legal authorization to act on Rebecca's behalf? I'm her mother. That is not an answer. I was helping her build credit. Without her knowledge, she started shaking. Her lawyer objected. The judge overruled him. Then my mother snapped. That money should have come to me, she shouted. I am their daughter. She turned them against me. She gets everything while I get nothing. There it was. The truth. Not concern. Entitlement. Judge Mitchell slammed his gavel. Enough. The next morning the courtroom was packed. Reporters, financial observers, people who had known my grandparents. Patricia testified first. She explained the competency evaluations, the estate precautions, the private investigator, the fraud. Then Mr. Peyton entered the investigator's report into evidence. Judge Mitchell read in silence, page after page. His expression changed slowly from concern to disbelief to anger. Finally, he removed his glasses and looked at my mother. Mrs. Morrison, this court was asked to determine whether your daughter requires protection. Based on the evidence before me, it appears she requires protection from you. My mother whispered, Your Honor, he cut her off. This conservatorship petition is denied. I am referring these materials to the district attorney for investigation. Security will escort the petitioner from the courtroom. Her lawyer stood so fast his chair nearly fell. My mother looked at me then. For the first time, she looked small. Not elegant. Not powerful. Small. Rebecca, she said, please. I stood, gathered my folder, and looked at her calmly. You did not want a daughter. You wanted access. Her face crumpled. Can we talk? No. I walked out of that courtroom with my spine straight, just like grandmother Eleanor taught me. My heels clicked against the marble floor. For the first time in 21 years, I did not look back. What do you think my mother did next? Option A. Apologized genuinely. Option B. Doubled down on the lies. Option C. Tried to legally retaliate. Drop A, B, or C in the comments. The answer was B. Within 48 hours, relatives started calling. Your mother made mistakes, but family is family. She was scared. You embarrassed her publicly. I saved every message. Then I blocked them. 3 months later, the district attorney filed charges related to identity theft and financial fraud. My mother's social circle collapsed faster than her legal defense. People who had once praised her style and charm suddenly remembered unpaid debts, suspicious signatures, and missing jewelry. Funny how truth improves memory. As for me, I kept working. Morrison Financial promoted me to senior portfolio director before I turned 29. I moved into my grandparents' Connecticut house, not because it was grand, but because it was home. I kept grandmother's dining room exactly as it was. I kept grandfather's office too. Sometimes, on Sunday mornings, I sit at his desk with coffee and review market reports, just like we used to do over pancakes. I do not wake up angry anymore. I do not check my phone hoping my mother finally remembered how to love me. I just live. And that is what people like her never understand. Boundaries are not revenge. The truth is not revenge. Consequences are not revenge. They are architecture. They are the structure you build when someone keeps trying to tear your life apart. If you are watching this, and you have been the forgotten child, the inconvenient child, the one people only remember when they need something, listen to me. Your worth is not decided by who abandoned you. Your value does not decrease because someone refused to see it. And you do not have to hand your life back to people who already proved they cannot be trusted with your heart. My mother called last week from an unknown number. I recognized her voice immediately. Rebecca, she said. I just want to explain. I looked out the window at the garden my grandmother planted 30 years ago. The peonies were blooming. I ended the call. Maybe one day I will listen. Maybe I won't. But for the first time in my life, that choice belongs to me. And that is something no one can ever take away.